President Biden is being urged to treat fentanyl overdose deaths with the same intensity as COVID. The street version of the deadly drug that's made in China and smuggled in through the southern border is devastating our country, fueling in large part a record 100,000 Americans dying from ODs last year. An organization called Families Against Fentanyl is asking the Biden administration to count fentanyl poisoning and overdose deaths the same way it counts COVID-19 deaths. They claim the data could help medical officials pinpoint hotspots and surge resources to save lives. This sounds like a good idea, right, Greg?
I guess so. I mean, you can definitely solve a lot of these problems by just with common sense. The problem always is going to be demand. And if you criminalize the substance, the demand moves towards the criminal. So in a perfect world, this drug would not exist. We wouldn't need it, and you couldn't get it anywhere. But the fact is, people make opiates. And the criminal supply will always be there, which is why you should be easing restrictions on the pharmacy. It's just like during Prohibition. If you take if you ban booze, then it's the still, and the still has its hazards. So people are picking up on drugs, whether it's Xanax or pot or opiates. It's counterfeit, and it's filled with fentanyl. That's why we don't call them overdoses. We call them poisonings. So right now, the best thing to do right now would be to ease up on restrictions. Don't drive people out of the street and perhaps start legalizing it. I would love to see it OTC at some point, but I'm not holding my breath. The other thing, too, is you got to treat it like mass murder, 100,000 from China. It's interesting to me because, you know, if you want to treat it like COVID, it's like, well, it came from China, too, but if we bring that up, is that racist? But it is coming from China.
It's true.
And when Trump had the idea of bombing, I think it was like bombing drug dealers in Mexico, and everybody freaked out. Why? They're terrorists.
Right. Yeah, narco-terrorists.
Yeah.
Dana, I mean, it's good policy just because you want to save lives, but it's great politics to focus on it like this.
But also because of these deaths, it really is a major bipartisan issue. This does not discriminate for the families that are Republicans or Democrats. This is actually hurting everyone. In that NBC poll that we've referenced a couple of times, immigration was still in the top 5 of issues. That means that it is really much on people's minds. And part of that is the drugs that are coming into the country. Now, the administration has a week to decide about Title 42. We've already seen Bill Maloogian's reporting today, and incredible, just the waves of people coming across. And that we know from the government's own documentation that they expect 18,000 more crossings a day, which means how many gotaways would there be and how many drugs would be coming across. If you wanted to galvanize the country against something like China and fentanyl, and for Americans, you could do that very easily with this.
You sure could. And because it's so small, Geraldo, anybody can bring it over. It's very hard to detect.
I think that while I generally agree with Greg on the treatment of illicit drugs, I think that there is such a thing as a prohibition mentality. And as you restrict it, so the demand grows. But you also, Greg, said something that was different, that was important, that the distinction between fentanyl and drugs. There's a drug overdose, and then there is a poisoning. If there's a poisoning, that is a crime. That is a manslaughter. I believe that what you have to do here is to treat this, every one of those 107,000 overdoses got the poison from somebody.
Right.
I'm not talking about Mexico. I'm talking about the somebody who poisoned 3 people on the block at the retail level. Let's have some high-profile prosecutions. Let's have a federal task force with really young, aggressive DAs to go out there and don't go for the cartel, which is unattainable right now, for at least at the local level. Go for the guy on the corner. Go for him and whack him with a manslaughter indictment. And you know that the circle around the junkie knows who gave him the dope, gave him the poison in this case. They know that it was Freddie or Mikey or Sammy, and he's notorious for it, and he's spiking the cocaine, and whack him with a manslaughter indictment. Let's see how many of those can alter some conduct. If it's promoted in a bipartisan way, we're going after them. It's not the war on drugs, it's the war on the killers. It's the manslaughterers.
Would you buy into that route, Judge?
Well, you know, I believe that certainly manslaughter is appropriate. And in terms of my career, I'm sure I've prosecuted for manslaughter, someone who gave someone drugs that they knew was dangerous, or they knew the person would overdose. That's nothing new. However, this is the difference.
You're saying I was unoriginal?
Here's the difference. When you say you prosecute them for manslaughter, that's great. But that's not how I did drug crimes. I wouldn't end up with just the local guy. I'd squeeze him until there was nothing left to squeeze. You can keep going up that ladder and going up that ladder until you get the big guy. And I think the sooner we recognize that this is an undeclared war by China against the United States, and the number one age group of people who are dying of this fentanyl poisoning, not overdose, poisoning, are men between the ages of 18 and 45. Now, if you have a war, think about even Ukraine. What are the ages of men who end up going to war? 18 to 45. Yep. I mean, there is an undeclared war that they declared against us. And so I think the better, and your idea is I'm sure is good. But we've got to start recognizing that if we don't take them down, and Title 42, damn Title 42. But what we've got to do is recognize that it will be the end of crime the way we see it today. It will flourish over the next decade if they end Title 42, because the cartels are licking their chops, they're getting money, they're money laundering, and they're invading the United States.
I think you've got to make a distinction between fentanyl and drugs.
Okay. Yeah, and we have here on the show.
We have.
All right, don't go anywhere. Kamala Harris cooking up another serving of word salad. This latest embarrassment ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.